Akali, Syndra, Jace, and an insta-lock Elise. We're caught up.
We got one of them. They got rid of the big pick, but everything else stays on the board. The Rise is still available. See whether they go towards it or whether that is something that Splyce want to pick up.
Definitely curious to see what he does go for next. You know, as long as it is something a little bit different. This is very similar though so far. You know, Ruler's Jhin has been one of his best champions, locking that one in early. They've already done it in the past first rounding. And Ambition, I do like on Rek'Sai. They've talked about it already a couple times today, but still, the passive from Rek'Sai provides so much value. Not to mention, you know, the early pressure, obviously, with the viability of multiple gank paths, but I do like the use of his passive for, or her passive for Vision. Oh, little twink change there at the end, though.
Yeah, we should still expect that most likely later. Take away a high priority pick here from Wonder. And of course, get a comfort pick for Cuvée on that cannon once again.
Yeah, just a reminder that Core JJ is playing. It means that Cuvée is allowed to pick cannon. That seems to be the pattern in. Never picked it with Wraith on the team. However, I do like this combo because with the Jhin slow, it's more of a setup tool for the initiation, and then cannon dives in and smashes everyone else on the back end.
So where does Splyce go with this? They've got their jungler. They've already seen the top lane and AD carry. Mickey's actually quite famous for playing unique supports, so...
Here's one thing. We've seen a lot of Kennen here, right? And not a lot of teams have concentrated on countering Kennen. In the past, we would immediately mention Janna and Alistar, things like this when we see a Kennen pick. But that has gone, you know, under the radar, and nobody's really focused on it, even though Kennen's been one of the best picks. Here we go, finally, a team. They actually focus immediately on that counter, get the Alistar to try and headbutt the Kennen back out. It is more difficult now that, you know, Kennen's ultimate isn't random. It comes in very quickly with the stuns, and there's extra options with Proto Belt, you know, more mobility there. But they do at least have one of those tools, and getting the tools is the first step in the process.
And there's two ways you can stop the cannon. Sure, you can boot him out, but a well-timed exhaust and then the Alistar actually comboing the backline is one of the best ways to set this up, because of the cannon, if he doesn't have Hourglass, dies.
Exactly, and that's been, you know, the second half of the combo that we have seen teams not do. So many Alistars go with the Ignite Thunder Cow to get kills in bottom lane, not really thinking about later in the game. But Trevor, catch us up, because we're much later in the draft phase.
We absolutely are. That Rek'Sai Tahm Kench has been locked in. My eyes are going to be on Mickey's Alistar. It's going to be the first professional game that he's played all year long, so a lot of pressure on a high priority pick. It will be comboed with Sivir and with Echo. So Splyce have got a lot of tools for both engage and disengage.
Shout out to Crepo and Jat earlier in the pick bans for Splyce. They mentioned the Aurelion Soul for Splyce. They mentioned that Senkooks has put time on it, and we'll see if he can actually make that count here, because Crown is back on the rise.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about Aurelion Sol is, you know, Kane was from Oceania. We gave him to the North American LCS. He kind of revolutionized this idea of, against aggressive mid laners, go something that you can pick up boots of swiftness early and just back whenever you can off the wave and run back down mid. Of course, Hecarim has the E, so does Aurelion Sol, just able to fly back into lane. So unless Rise 100 to zeros you, you're always able to sustain.
The other thing about Rise, obviously, you have to position very well to get around frontline members, since your main damage does come from your overload, from your Q, and it can be blocked. There's an Alistar in the game, there's an Echo in the game. Both of those will do their best to try and land the zone control so that that is not possible.
It feels like there's a lot of coordination on the side of this Splyce composition. They simply cannot afford to be on the wrong page at the wrong time. Echo wants to go in, Asol wants to stay back. Alistar has to go in. So there's a lot of execution which could go wrong on the side of Splyce. Do you think they have what it takes, based on the two games you've seen today, to deal with this Kennen-Rise combination?
I'm a big fan of Splyce, honestly. I watched a lot of their games. I think that when they play at their best, they do have very good teamwork and coordination. I thought that if anything, their laning phase was going to fall down, and they have stepped that up. On their best day, they can beat them. However, Samsung's playing so well.
I was going to say, this is coming from the guy who just said Samsung best team in the whole tournament after 2 games.
Well, guys, we're going to be on the lookout for some of your favorite moments and memories from Worlds 2016. When you see that hype play, shout it out on Twitter with the hashtag #WorldsBigPlays. We saw what Smeb could do with Kennen. We'll see if Cuvée can pull the same magic, or maybe it's going to be Senkooks, Cobby, and Mickey playing spoiler here for Europe and picking up their second win.
I also want to mention in the bottom lane here, Core JJ with another very good pick. This guy, the Tahm Kench into Alistar, is great for lane. Plus Core JJ, some of his best performances were on the Tahm Kench, making use of the ultimate. Watch out for those mid-game plays, and in combination with Ryze, there are just so many options for Samsung to actually catch Splyce by surprise in the mid game.
Yeah, it really helps that 1-3-1 split push if you want to go towards it, or a 1-1-3. One thing I do want to point out one more time, I'm going to speak about Splyce's discipline. Double exhaust. Ryze in a team fight, Kennen in a team fight. You need one for each, and they pick it up.
Very, very, very smart. As we've seen, we mentioned a lot of teams forego that option. Exhaust overall just brings so much power to your team fight. And it's actually interesting that both of these teams have so much mobility that this is going to be a very interesting game as we see the Warden game start to unfold.
The slap.
Take a look at that. Ambition busts a move, throws down the taunt as well. One more win. Samsung Galaxy will top the group. They will guarantee a #1 seed. And we'll find out who they face off against tomorrow in the World's Group Draw. But they need to win here to ensure they get that highest placement in the preferential draw when it comes to the next.
Ruler. He should be flashed on here.
Do it, do it, do it. Go for it, Mickey.
He should be
It's
flashed
the bomber
on
arm.
here.
Exhaust, there's the pulverize. Flash and heal available. 150, exhaust is available. Cobby's going to get licked. Core JJ's trying to run him down. 110. Summoner heals traded back and forth. Exhaust as well. Flash away. Core JJ was looking for the stun. The Tahm Kench is really paying dividends. And the Catfish wants to eat more. Gets a stun into Mickey. Pulverize comes down. The fight's now starting to wrap up. And it's Rula and Core JJ that look like they got the advantage.
The reason you generally flash early is because if you can get the panic flash out of Ruler, you just trade support flash for AD carry flash. Don't ever fight Tahm Kench level 1 because his stupid passive does so much damage at this stage. And you can see that he bullies out both summoner spells from Kobe.
Biggest takeaway from this, actually, to me, is giant siren sounding for the junglers. Oh! Big mistake there.
Mickey pulverizes the ground. Remember, first time professional Alistar. And he can't afford to make those mistakes as the game plays out.
At least get into the bottom lane. You're needed.
Woo, 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 woo. Jungler alert. They're trading heavily down bottom, and they both have melee supports over there. All right, let's return over here to the top side, though, because Wonder's getting zoned out. QB.
They actually pinged River for the ward, but it hasn't gone down yet, and Elise is in position.
Flash available on Alistar, but not on Sivir.
Can he find the pulverize? Cocoon was fired early.
So let's talk about what happened there, because that is the bottom lane.
I don't think he'll get a chance. Gonna lightning rush forward. Wonder's in trouble. Needs a few more tags before he gets done. Flash for Wonder. Stays alive for yet another time today.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't quite get there with the charge to grab the stun. But anyways, we were going to say down bottom, great respect from the Samsung.
Sorry, I don't think it's your turn. Bobby takes a big hit. Boomerang comes out.
All right, I'll sit down. Take over, Spawn.
All right, let's try this one more time. Huge push now coming into the bottom lane, and Rek'Sai set up vision control through the Scuttle Crab and the 3 wards around the bottom side of the map.
Oh, no.
This should be a dive.
Oh no, Cobby's coming back. Why are you coming back? Ruler flashes. The pulverize comes out. Ruler is taken down. Mickey loses his life in reply. Core JJ, that's not the flavor of the day.
Clutch play out of Mickey, but a misclick out of Core JJ there. They were both dying regardless, but one does live.
Oh, I've seen Catfish eat spiders before. Ambition, not gonna look for more though, and luckily, Trashy can repel to minions.
Take us through this one, Kirby. What happened here?
Do I have time now? All right, well, that was a flash auto crit from Ruler, and then Core JJ going for the save. It was almost the perfect play. If he can get that Devour, then that is the cleanest bottom lane assassination. Doesn't quite come out there as he grabbed the minion. But top lane, Cube still doing work.
Oh, quite aggressive.
Yeah, Wonder
face dive forward, but Cube's not going to step into the stunt, so parallel convergence whiffs, and Wonder's still in trouble. Look at that wave.
Exactly. This is so bad for him, but Mickey's coming up here to try and even it.
At least show his face, maybe?
Well, what you want to do is at least break the freeze here. They need extra pressure because Cube could just completely starve Wonder out of the entire game if not for this extra presence. And merely the roam up there from Alistar and taking out the ward allows Wonder to move up and try and take this, but Cube is even going in again.
Oh, Wonder is just having such a hard time trying to shove that wave in. Copy's about a face check here. Core JJ gets a tongue lash. Gobbles him up shortly. Devour should be available, but not going to be able to catch him. I think he canceled 2 autos there, it looked like. And Spawn, Samsung Galaxy have got a 1,300 gold lead. Your favorite team, Worlds, is in a great spot here.
Yeah, still looking very good, and they're playing respectful, although now CoreJJ caught.
Now, no real support just yet. Here comes Crown. Doesn't have that round walk. Mickey's Devourable. He's going to go forward. That's a flash from Scout. Spits him into the Krugs. Krugs off. Not going to be dealing damage just yet. Mickey will go down. Flash over for Crown as well.
Samsung are just feeling it today. After the momentum from their first 2 victories, super aggressive play, flashes in here, early roams from Crown. Now he's level 6. He actually put his level 6 point into the ultimate as well. Look for more of those roam plays.
Yeah, certainly expect to see it here. CoreJJ is playing nice and aggressive, but a good early movement out of Crown. Mickey doesn't walk back into lane, walks towards Krugs, and that just means with the flash, they're going to be able to gobble him up.
They've got vision there already, right over the wall. Crown lands the snare, flashes over. They also got the exhaust out there for there's not even an extra summoner spell now, and Samsung with a huge lead in this game.
And Samsung are just playing really intelligent today. I mean, they see all the pressure towards the top lane. They say, we're going to make the play on the bottom side of the map. So this is just good, clean League of Legends.
Cocoon, Cocoon, Cocoon! Crown is in trouble. Voice of Light comes down. Crown's going to survive a few seconds longer. The Celestial Expansion comes down. It's interrupted. Now Trashy's running for his life. CoreJJ's hungry. Parallel convergences. Wonder comes forward. Time Winder will slow down Ambition. But Splyce do not get the kill.
They cannot buy a play right now. I mean, that's a face check into double CC, and he's just able to escape. That's the benefit of having a Catalyst mid laner, much tankier than you expect.
Credit to Samsung, or to Splyce there for looking for the opening, though. You know, there are very few areas on the map where they can try and create a play. This is one of the few. I mean, they've got a pink ward, and then Senkux hides up in the Fog of War in their own jungle, so it was a good setup. They're just not able to finish. That star was about to hit. Ambition, jeez.
Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Crown escapes with his life.
Great setup, and yes, Crown really just saved by Ambition being very close there and landing that flash knockup.
Kobe, can I slow the tempo down just a touch?
Go for it, I mean.
Game that's
You can try.
8 minutes, 2,000 gold lead for Samsung. Yep, typical. There's going to be a fight here. I can feel it. Mickey's caught out. Level 3, by the way. Headbutts away. Curtain calls being fired. Kobe blocks at least one. CoreJJ spits out a minion. And Mickey's able to survive without blowing flash. But look at the CS differences. Tower's under pressure as well. Samsung Galaxy may even get first tower blood. There's simply no defense here from Splyce.
And Crown one more time just ducks into the Fog of War, has the Rise ulti, so they have to back so far away.
Not to mention, Samsung have already made so many visits into the red quadrant of Splyce's jungle that they've got the vision there already, and you have to respect that. In the bottom lane that's getting pushed in, dives are always an option. You can see Ambition just went in, he took the Wraith camp away, and could have gone bottom. Now he is down bottom, probably going to take the Krugs as well, and Trashy's also paying the price for this bottom lane pressure. Looks like his only answer right now is to try and move into Samsung territory and try and make something happen mid, but it's just not going to happen.
No, it's not. Ambition's going to be able to steal away that Krag, and luckily for Trashy, he can move in very quickly. He's got Moby boots again. Kobe, you were fairly strongly opinionated about those Moby boots earlier today.
Well, let's hold on there and wait for opinions because we've got some action.
That we do again. Celestial Expansion comes out. They've got to get through the slicing maelstrom.
Oh, no.
Cube's going to be able to turn this one around. Wonder uses the chrono break backwards. Cube's still alive. Wonder forced to flash away. Loses his life in a 3-on-1. Cube gets himself a kill. CoreJJ's coming up from the river, but he doesn't have a lot of support just yet.
He has no support.
He's a level 4. Trashy, a level 4 jungler, is playing so aggressive. Trashy has simply no idea. And Trashy and Senkux are running for their lives.
That's what I mean by him. Look at it.
Oh,
okay,
there
they
we
finally
go.
realize he's by himself. They're like, wait a second. We have been had. This is a level 4 Tom Kench. Get off my ass.
The cojones on CoreJJ. This should play so far forward.
But when you're behind, you have to take the risky plays, but Kuve just outplays him. The flashback in outside of the stun range absolutely smashes Splyce here. And unfortunately, there's just, when you're this far behind, there is no good play. You have to go for a trade. They go 1-for-1, but they lose out on mid lane pressure. They lose out on Dragon. Samsung is just so good at playing this style.
You can tell they're having fun, too. I mean, Samsung are really enjoying themselves now. All the teams have talked about it, but CoreJJ actually respects and flashes away there.
Gonna turn this one around. Trashy.
Ah, another one-on-one.
Indeed. Although CoreJJ is bringing exhaust this time round, Trashy's able to repel to the scuttle and get away.
What an animation on Tom by the way.
It is my favorite.
CoreJJ is just playing fantastic.
Utensils out, tongue slobbering back and forth.
In picks and bans, you even mentioned about how good he is on that champion.
Yeah.
Just really knowing the limits. And it's giving Splyce the hardest time.
And now you have to question why they were starting Wraith, because you can tell that this team with CoreJJ in the lineup plays much more cohesive.
And let's just also revisit the topic we talked about before, where both these teams actually have a lot of mobility for the mid game. We thought there was going to be a lot of exchanges here as we move on towards this point when people are fighting over the pink wards and trying to move up vision. Since Samsung got such an early lead, they're really using the Tahm Kench roam and soon the Tahm Kench ultimate, as soon as he gets another level, in combination with both the Rise and the Rek'Sai also having that mobility. So whichever team got ahead was going to be able to make a lot of these cross-map plays, and Samsung are definitely taking advantage with the support of a Jhin ultimate. You have to really respect every time that cone pops up, especially if you don't have Fog of War vision. You know, how many other members could be there?
So how does Splyce then bounce back? They're down in a very, very big hole. It is still fairly early in the game, and they've got strong wave clear from actually all of their solo lanes, or carries rather. Is that the only way? Buy time somehow?
Yeah, buy time, look for the side wave pick if it does become available, because right now still some squishy members running around on Samsung Galaxy. However, realistically, the siege is just way too strong.
That really is. Copy's not doing his best with that ricochet. The rest of the team's coming up from behind. Mickey, once again, so much damage. No unbreakable. He decides to go aggressive and pays the price. Ruler was devoured by CoreJJ and set up in a safe spot. Curtain Call goes wide. 3 bullets missed. There's only 1 connected. But Mickey opted to go in aggressive with the headbutt pulverized combo.
Oh, Sandcooks.
He's in trouble. Ambition. Flash available. No, I take it back. It was used. Voice of Light comes down, and Crown's looking for the bounce on Spellflux, not going to find it. Now Senkux is sempacking. I don't think they can hold this tower if the SSG stick around.
Pressure remains for Samsung in both lanes. Juve up top pressuring the turret. Meanwhile, mid also shortly going to go down here. So much pressure, and Samsung, there's honestly very little, comeback potential here from Splyce. I am a big believer, though, in the super late game Sivir, so trying to minimize your losses would be the route that I would go for. Trying to set up one of those Fog of War plays is really difficult since Samsung do have all that extra mobility we mentioned, so I think playing very safe at the moment and trying to farm up for Splyce would probably be the best option.
The thing that is impressing me so much about Samsung is, they lose out in playoffs in the LCK so hard. They go away, they change their champion pool, they change their support, and they are a team that prides themselves on preparation. Heading into this week 2 of Worlds, they look night and day right now from where we saw them last week. And that is just so impressive. 2
days in a row, we've seen a team come away from week 1 to week 2 and looking significantly better. Yesterday was H2K. That silenced many, many critics. Today, Samsung Galaxy, they've put up a showing that surely people have to start questioning. Maybe they deserve to be here. We'll answer that question a little bit later as Ruler, it looks like he's going to get jumped on. Here comes Wonder. He phase dives onto CoreJJ. CoreJJ, no flash available. He's going to get cocooned down. This is a kill for Splyce. Well played. Wonder bites off a little more than he can chew. Chrono breaks backwards, and here comes Ambition, looking for more. Ambition's not going to get tagged by the Celestial Expansion, but Mickey does. Curtain Call won't kill anyone, but Senkux forced to flash away on the wrong side of the engage. Stuns up Crown on the way out, and it's a 1-for-1 trade.
They did get a kill there for Splyce, but they've lost so much momentum here, so much control of the map. That's kind of why I was hoping for the super defensive play, but 1-for-1 is not bad. Trading, anytime you can try and trade evenly at this point is completely fine for Splyce, and as long as they don't lose the turret afterwards, that was actually decent. Trashy also lands the smite, so they don't lose the red buff there, so not too shabby.
And one more time, this is a well-drilled team. They don't go into the AD carry, they go onto the Tahm Kench because they know that the save is going to be there. However, they will lose out in the long run.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about for them. Does go down, so in the end, Samsung do punish them pretty heavily.
Wonder does so much Trumble. Slicing Maelstrom, C-Drive Resonance allows Wonder to run away. CoreJJ delivers Ambition, but not going to be needed.
It's the problem when you try and make one of those comeback plays against a team that does have so much vision, both on your side of the map and their own. It makes the counterplay very easy for Samsung because they have so much information to work with. Here we go with the kite back, though.
So this is the right target. However, look how long the Tahm Kench takes to die, and that allows the rotation to come through from the mid laner as well as the top lane. They fly in here off the back of the curtain call, as we said, initiation, but fight.
Now remember, Slicing Maelstrom was used just a few seconds ago. Mickey's the sacrificial cow in the mid lane. He's already taken down. Ambition's taken a lot of damage. Trashy forced to run away. Won't be able to get the kill. The burn on Ambition won't kill him. And Trashy's rooted. He manages to rappel up. Senkax can't connect with the Star Surge and is unable to find a kill. Now Samsung are running away. Wonder's got Chrono Break available. Cobby's run out of mana. A Devour from CoreJJ actually gets a stun from the parallel convergence. 1, 2 is dodged. 3 flies, and 4 kills, Wonder! That's a killing spree for Ruler. Samsung Galaxy, 10 kills to 3. 9,000 gold in the lead. Hell, they set a new record at 23.53. They might look to break it.
We're also now seeing one of the problems with Aurelion Sol if you don't get the early lead. The build is so defensive. Right there's the one-on-one where Senkux also had to use Exhaust and didn't get much damage at all on Cuvée. He can't put out any threat at all here. He's just so far behind.
You also have to be really good at this champion because the spacing is incredibly important. Look at Cuvée. He steps forward here. Mister. Absolutely no damage going out just because of Senkuk's spacing. And that allows for the rest of the Samsung team to follow up, clean up the back end of this team fight. And, you know, Ruler's ultimates haven't been very on point, but when there's a 2-second snare, it makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Also, his last shot crits have been great, finding their mark, and it's allowing him to cash in. That is always so important. That's why I really like double mage comps with Jhin, since Jhin likes to build so much flat armor penetration really early. You can definitely punish people for those builds.
Cuvé's going again.
He is indeed. Maelstrom will be up shortly. And Cuvé's got flash. There we go. Flash forward, Maelstrom. Just makes it look way too easy. 136 to 110, 311. And now Trashy's the target. A Realm Warp from Crown. Just a bait's not going to actually follow it through. Senkax on the side gets a stun onto Ruler. But Trashy is squashed between Samsung Galaxy's boots. And that means Samsung extend their lead even further.
And you can see how far behind they are because cross-map, they're losing the one-on-one, they're being outnumbered, and now Cobbe's in trouble.
Oh, Devour, good knock-up. That's going to come in from Mickey. Cobbe's looking for more decent damage onto Ambition. CoreJJ may go down. There's no flash available for him. Teleport coming in for Wonder. He's got his ultimate available as well. Ambition's flashed away defensively, so teleport used to what end? Where does Splyce go with their numbers advantage?
To answer that, we're going to have to turn on Fog of War and just look how dark the map is for Splyce. It's so difficult to analyze a comeback from a team this far behind, especially considering what they're running up against here in the Samsung composition. But Rulers are going to pop the ult just to zone them off turret and keep Splyce from getting any objectives.
Oh, Senkux is in trouble. It's at least a stun onto Cuvée. Cuvé's going to be exhausted. Doesn't have a Maelstrom available. Splyce flag goes up, but it's on the corpse of the mid laner. And Splyce now running for their lives. They lose another 14 kills in the hole as we approach 20 minutes.
And as you said, it's that Fog of War. They open up. Rise is going to come in again.
Well, there we go. Trashy's going to be in trouble. Eats a dancing grenade, but Samsung walk away.
So they can't see Rise coming from the flank. They think they have okay information because Trashy was actually on the top side. But, you know, honestly, this far behind, there's nothing you can really do. They tried to play a quick pace game to get themselves back into it, and it ended up costing them more.
This is the point where you just cite mistakes, and you're just looking for, you know, unforced errors from the enemy team. Anyways, let's take a look at it, though. They zone them off the turret. This is why so many people are prioritizing Jhin very highly. And there he lands the snare. So Senkux is separated from the rest of the team. And Mickey was thinking about going in to sacrifice himself to save there, but decides against it, lets the dragon go down, still gets chased as Crown does pop the ghost there. So did at least make them burn a summoner for the extra kill. And we've closed in on almost 10,000 gold here for Samsung.
And sorry, it was actually Wonder on the top side of the team, which means that the rest of Splyce should have been playing towards the Baron side of the map, because when you saw the Rise come out of Fog of War, would have had more time to react, but at the end of the day, now we're just nitpicking tiny mistakes. Realistically, when you're 10,000 gold up at 20 minutes, you can pretty much do what you want.
Yeah, I mean, looking at just the item disparities, Void Staff plus a Proto Belt for Cuvée versus the ingredients of Triforce here for Wonder. There's a GLP 800 on Senkuk's A-Sol versus a nearly fully stacked Roa, as well as your Abyssal Scepter. So it's just day and night, you know, between the damage. And unfortunately for Splyce, they only, you know, picked up one win at Worlds. and they've fallen apart under the pressure that Samsung have applied. And it's just really good, even though chaotic and messy, it's good play from Samsung never to let Splyce have an opportunity.
Oh, for sure. Samsung definitely deserves credit for their play today. Looking to go 3-0 on the day. And even though that GLP is kind of a neat looking item, you get to spray your confetti, it's not going to add a lot of damage.
Well, it's tears of sadness for Senkex and Splyce after this particular game. Samsung Galaxy sieging up in the top lane. Cube's got teleports and his ult available down bottom. He should be interrupting Wunder on the minimap. Thank you, observers. As the rest of Samsung just continue to look for more towers. They've got 4 knocked over already. 2 inner turrets remaining. And it feels like it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I mean, they have an easy way to win. There's good Baron control coming out of things like Rise. You can't really dive into that pit, as well as the siege that comes out of Jhin.
Yeah, honestly, they have so many tools. You can split push to pull the other team apart. You have full vision in the jungle. Remember, this is a 21.5-minute Baron. This is fairly early on the scope of Barons, but they're so far ahead, and they have so much pressure. This would be a miracle steal here for Splyce.
Well, not going to be a chance. Star Surge comes out. Senkex is even caught out. Trashy's now coming in from the river. Samsung Galaxy a little bit split up. Pulverize actually not going to hit anything because the TP was cancelled. Senkex looking to do some damage over the wall with that Celestial expansion, but Trashy's already down. Curtain call. 1, 2, misses. That's a double kill for Ruler. Finally finding his targets. While all that's going on, Cube doesn't care. He's taking a tower down bottom. The rest of Samsung taking towers up top. This is for the #1 seed from Group D, surprising the world as they've bounced back to go flawless here in week 2.
Definitely, a lot of people surprised maybe after week 1, but you know, coming into Worlds, a decent amount of people did have Samsung very highly rated. This was one of the groups where the top 3 were so close, and Samsung definitely doing it in a very convincing fashion today.
Kobe's in trouble. Summoner Heal used. His flash was blown early. Ambition and Corcher J gonna run for their lives. Devour buys some time for Ruler to put down the deeps, but he's running out of mana. Voice of Light does really nothing as Ruler starts to heal himself out. GLP sprays the confetti, but it's for Samsung Galaxy. Ambition's coming in from behind with Cube. Slicing Maelstroms available. Protobelt forward. That's a 3-man stun. Cube goes down, but takes 2 with him. Mickey manages to survive for just a few seconds longer. The slow from Time Winder buys a couple extra. Chrono Break comes out for Wunder, and it's not going to be enough. That's the ace for Samsung Galaxy against Splyce.
And for the second time in 2 games, Samsung Galaxy has absolutely run over a team. Back-to-back shellackings, and they're going to come out as seed 1.
Nexus turret is going down. There's simply no support here for Splyce. And Samsung Galaxy, back-to-back, phenomenal performances. They break their fastest record in the very next game. And Samsung Galaxy top Group D at Worlds 2016.
I mean, you just have to stand in awe. This team is playing such clean early game League of Legends, and sure, it looks scrappy as the game progresses, but they're just closing it out at such a rapid pace that you're going to have some trades, but they're always in favor of this Samsung Galaxy lineup. Really crisp play.
Definitely agree. Ambition has cleaned up the early game for himself. No more of those invades without the support of his jungle or his lanes. And man, everyone was like, oh yeah, mid-game, late-game Samsung, mid-game, late-game Samsung. But the early game that you mentioned, so impressive.
And Samsung Galaxy are the #1 seed from Group D. They will be joined by Team Solomid or Royal Never Give Up, who will play next. But you know, what a stark contrast from week 1 to week 2. Great growth, great improvement, and that's what Samsung Galaxy will have to channel again next week in Chicago.
Honestly, this team has one of the best stories coming into Worlds with, you know, Core JJ coming back to Korea from North American LCS, Crown going back to Korea from Brazil, and Ambition finally getting to Worlds. Plus, the organization itself, you know, after Samsung wiped the entire team release, they have to rebuild from scratch, and yet they top this group. They're coming back like a powerhouse.
You've also skipped a step. They took down KT Rolster in the finals of their regional